What you talking about now, Cine? I don't know, but you're gonna get some nuggets out of it though. But first, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn that bell on. There's a new video series dropping every Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the random jam session whenever I'm in my bag. You do not want to miss out. Also, be sure to check out my books, man. The link's in the description below, right along with my vegan class if you're trying to go plant-based and stay plant-based. I'm telling you, it works. Oh, and lastly, be sure to follow me on Instagram at _just_scene_. The nuggets I don't put over here, I put over there, so you can always get me when you need me. But you ain't really coming for all of that. Peace, love, knowledge, and freedom. I'm out. First cousins of that, you know what I mean? Because they're first cousins in the sense, well, I ain't even gonna say they're first cousins. They gotta be siblings because they all derive from two brothers, metaphorically. Because again, like I said, you have to understand the ideology, then you got to understand the ritual, then you understand the allegory. And when you understand the allegory, you break it down and say, oh, metaphorical type shit. You feel what I'm saying? But that comes with own personal study. Like, this is why it's like, I feel like personally, people aren't studying this information. They're just constantly reviewing it. That's what it is. I say review. Because it's like there's no critical thought into it. Because when you start putting critical thought into certain dynamics, that's how you uncover the reality into it. That's how you peel back the layers and you can make the choice for yourself. But when it's about review, when it's about understanding information that you just have not truly understood, you just have to accept it. So every day you go and you're reading these informations, but it's like they're giving you certain dynamics. Okay, I'm gonna use just two particular points only because it comes from, you know, the Holy Bible or whatnot. Yeah, that was my study tactic. But again, like I said, I was able to still understand all three because I understand they're all siblings because they all come from the same father, and even the father was an allegory. But when we look at one dynamic of, you know, being a born sinner, right? It's constantly taught in church. It's there. Or you were born into sin. Every song that we have, all of our gospel music talks about how, you know, we need the God of the second chance. We need all of this stuff. We need to be washed white as snow. I know I've been changed and all of this shit. We need to be cleansed. It shows how bad we are. But how many times do you hear the two pivotal verses? I want to say, I could be wrong, but I understand. I know that it's like Psalms 82 and 6 or Psalms 84 and 6. I know it's in there, but I know for a fact it's John 10 and 34. These two particular verses say, ye are gods. That changes your dynamic. That changes your whole mentality. If that level of self-mastery was taught, I have never heard that in any church that I went to, any Bible study, any one of these top preachers. They're not teaching those two verses specifically. You feel what I'm saying? But I've heard, you know, honor your slaves, you know, honor your masters if you would, Jesus Christ, because, you know, X, Y, and Z. I've heard that verse. I've heard all of Deuteronomy 28. I've heard so many different verses that promoted the detriment of the human, of the inner person, but I've never really heard anything that hyped up the betterment. Now I get, okay, yeah, they say, oh well, no weapon forged against me shall prosper. Okay, cool, that's a very powerful thing, but you know the very verse right before that says, but I create the destroyer to work havoc in your life, and he can only do what I allow. So basically, it's like, what kind of brownie points do you really want? But I'm not gonna get too heavy into religion on that because that's another topic. This is all about self-mastery. But in order to master yourself, you have to master your religion and understand what it says to you. You have to go through the three phases of the ideology, the ritual, and then the allegory. Some of us are just stuck in between the ideology and the ritual. And the ritual is just going to church on Sunday, reading the Bible, having communion, whatever it is, going to revival and different shit like that. We're stuck at the ritual. We're not even at the allegory because when we read it, we're there. Now, a part of the ideology, even when they say study the Greek and Hebrew and all of that text and all of that stuff, that's still a part of the ideology. That's still not ascending you above the ritual. You feel me? And it's not sending you above the ritual because you got to understand the steps and how language translates. How did it get to English? It didn't go from Greek to Hebrew to English, like it didn't. So you got to understand that it went from English, then you got to go back to Latin, then you got to go from Latin to Greek to Hebrew. You dig what I'm saying? So think about you know, the phone game. You know, I know we all played it when we was in school. You know, you whisper to a motherfucker, and then they got to send it all the way around between 30 kids. And by the time it got back to you, that's not what it's saying. Now that's just kids speaking the same language, whispering to each other. So you expect me to believe that over 2,000, 3,000 years, this information was able to stay the same? But see, that's the thing. Like, you get these transliteration Bibles, and I get them. You know, there's like, okay, transliteration says do X, Y, and Z. But they still don't tell you to go through the Latin part. After you transliterate it from the Hebrew to the Greek to the Latin, then you got to come to English. And English is a very tricky language. The languages of the past were just like, if that word was that word, that was it. You ain't have synonyms and antonyms. But a part of that's another thing. So I can go on forever about that shit. So once you understand and you master your religion, and you go from the ideology to the ritual to the allegory, then you can go into spirituality, because now there's not many details anymore. It's everything is